The Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians Network meeting at the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference in Dhaka, Bangladesh focused on the equal representation for women in Parliament and gender empowerment. At the CWP business meeting attended by nearly 100 women parliamentarians from across the Commonwealth, the CWP chairperson presented the CWP Strategic Plan 2017-2019 on gender equality, which outlines the work of the Commonwealth women parliamentarians.
This is the CWP Strategic Plan for 2017-2019. And we come up with the strategic plan as a result of a consultative process involving all women parliamentarians across the Commonwealth.
In a first for the CWP, a discussion was held at the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference on the role of male parliamentarians in championing gender equality, which was attended by both male and female parliamentarians at the conference. The discussion covered a wide range of views and experiences from different jurisdictions. The recommendations from the CWP gender workshops and the discussion on the male champions were included in the overall conference concluding statement for the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference.
Carnival, legendary, eternity, windy town, elegant.
During this conference, in an exclusive interview with the GB television, different country speaker, senator and member of parliament have talked about empowerment of women parliamentarians and various types of aspects of the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference 2017. Honorable Niki Rattle, Speaker of the Parliament of Cook Islands. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you.
Well, implementing the power by women parliamentarians, they face a lot of discriminations. How to overcome these discriminations?
I think it is really important that a woman parliamentarian stands up and be very confident, and because she's taken on a very important role in taking care of her community, and so therefore she must face it and she must believe in herself and not be put down by discrimination either by media or by what is going on around her. She just needs to be very assertive, she needs to be confident, and because if she knows what it is that she's going to do for her community, that will give her the power to do what needs to be done instead of concentrating on what is negative about her. And I think if women take that on board and just be very sure about themselves, when they make a commitment to become a parliamentarian, then they have to step up and leave all those other negative things aside and move on and prove to the people that nothing is going to bother her, but her job in the responsibilities of a parliamentarian is what is important.
If you want to escape from this discrimination, what kind of effective steps should be taken?
Yes, I think it is important that look for the cause of the problem. Who's creating the negativity? Who is discriminating? And are they doing it because they don't understand the role of a woman in the community? Or is it because there's some other deep-rooted effect? I think it's very important you deal with the situation as it arises. If it's individuals, if it's a group, whatever, you should approach them and say, look, what you're doing is not right, but it's not going to make a difference to how I perform in my role as a woman parliamentarian. And we already have, we have the CDOR, we have policies, we have those sort of things. But I think that more and more we need to continue with mainstreaming gender right across the government, the civil society, anywhere, so that people will have a better understanding of treating women as individuals with respect rather than because they are a woman.
In this context, the gender equality is a very significant issue. What's your opinion about the gender equality?
Right. We have the two issues about gender equality, right, that everybody gets treated exactly the same. We also have the issue about equity. Now, sometimes they're two different things. As we heard today, that equity is about justice, making sure that even though it is equal, women and men are equal, but there's also sometimes where equity or justice is not observed. So I think it's very important with education that people realise that it is not just about equality, that there is also this equity, which means that everybody justice must be served at the same time.
As a most popular speaker, what's your message for next parliamentarians?
Yes, I'm very much involved with the development of youth, and so my way of doing it as a parliamentarian, apart from the normal out in the community, is that I have conducted a youth parliament, youth practice parliament, bringing both men and women, young people together. And we have conducted a youth parliament where they come into the chamber and they sit and they pretend to be a member of parliament, and they discuss a real issue in one of our bills that was going through consultation. So that being done, it gave them a different view of what it is like to be a parliamentarian, because many young people think that to be a parliamentarian you have to be old. But what they realised by doing the actual practice is no, that's not the case. Young people can bring so much to the table. And so I am planning, or my parliament is planning, on holding another youth practice parliament to encourage, to keep the momentum on the interest, because it's election time next year, 2018, because many of those people will also become voters. And so it's partly educating them about the responsibilities of a voter as a young person stepping up to be old enough to be a voter.
What's your expectation from the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference 2017?
In regards to women, well, there have been some recommendations that have been put together, and these recommendations will be taken to the General Assembly. And I think they're very positive recommendations for change in the future. So that's my expectation, that the General Assembly will endorse those recommendations.
How do you like the Bangladesh?
Love it. I think it's wonderful. I have never been here before, and often I see it on the media, and of course I have known our current chairperson since I've been an executive member. And so actually being in the country, it's wonderful. I think it's a fantastic place. The people are very friendly and your food is delicious. And I'm very impressed. I like it very much.
I wish you all the best and again invite you to visit in Bangladesh.
Thank you. I shall do that in future. And all the best. I mean, your Prime Minister, the opening yesterday was just so beautiful, and the hospitality has been just extra special, and so I'm very grateful to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you.
Canadian Senator Salma Ataullahjan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What's your expectations from the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference 2017?
Well, I want to thank Bangladesh for welcoming us. It's always a pleasure to be in Bangladesh. We are very well looked after, and the conference has been organized beautifully. I think we should look at the issue on hand, what is on everyone's mind, and I think a resolution on the Rohingya issue would be great if we could come up with something. It's a big issue that affects Bangladesh. It's an issue that affects this part of the world, and I think the world is watching in to see what the Commonwealth Conference is going to come up with, so a resolution on the Rohingyas would be great.
As a senior women parliamentarians, how to empower the women parliamentarians?
We have to make it easy for women to get into politics. We have to support the women and encourage them to come out. And it's not easy as a woman, because no matter what we do and say, the woman has more responsibilities of the house and the children, and quite often don't get involved in politics. So we have to work at making it an easier working environment for women, and we have to teach them the importance of being involved politically.
While implementing the power by women parliamentarians, they face a lot of discriminations. How to overcome these discriminations?
Well, I mean, Bangladesh is a great example. You have a wonderful prime minister, she is incredible, and you have a wonderful speaker. I mean, these are two great role models. And Bangladesh should hold their head up high, because the women of Bangladesh have done extremely, extremely well. I mean, Sheikh Hasina and Speaker Shireen, Shamin Chaudhry are a leading example to the world.
What's your message for the young parliamentarians?
Well, you know what? Get up, get involved, and speak your mind. And you have to be at the table where decisions are made. That's why it's so important to be involved politically.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kylie Hercules, member of the state of Helena. What's your expectations from the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference 2017?
The conference itself has been very overwhelming. I am new to Parliament. Only recently been elected in 2017 July, and actually it's a very overwhelming experience, but it's really very critical for all of us to come together and be able to bond and make those connections. One region can help the next, one territory can help the next. I'm deeply honoured to be a part of it.
As very young parliamentarians, what's the message for other parliamentarians?
Message to the younger parliamentarians is be inspired, be yourself, and if you are passionate, then take on your passion and run to be a parliamentarian, and nothing will be impossible.
George Foulkes, member of the British Parliament. What's your expectations from the 63rd Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference 2017?
I think there are a couple of things that we can get out of it. I've been at many conferences over the last 30 years, and this is one of the best organised I've been at, which is a great compliment to the government and people of Bangladesh. But I think there are two things we can get out of it. First of all, I would want a clear statement by all the delegations that we support Bangladesh and the government of Bangladesh in the work they're doing for the Rohingya refugees, and that we agree with the 5-point plan that had been put forward by your Prime Minister to the United Nations. And I'm going down with my delegation to Cox's Bazar on Wednesday to see the plight of the refugees, and then we'll be raising this in the United Kingdom Parliament when we return. The second thing I want out of this conference is an agreement by all the Commonwealth countries to work more closely together. I think that there has been a bit of fragmentation around the Commonwealth, and now we need to bring it together in a far more unified way. And the United Kingdom is one of the many parts of the Commonwealth, but only one. And I think it's important to recognise that it is now an association of equals and not an empire of the past.
To build a world public opinion for a sustainable settlement regarding Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, what kind of support Bangladesh may get from CPA?
I think the advantage here is that all the delegates who are members of Parliament will go back to their own parliaments and raise this to get support by their government for the Rohingya people and for the government of Bangladesh and what they're doing. And that's the advantage. We've got MPs from 44 parliaments. For example, I'm going back to the House of Lords, and I've got a debate on the Rohingya people, and I will be pressing the British government to do more, to support the resolution at the United Nations and to agree with the government of Bangladesh and their 5-point plan. So that's the way in which members of Parliament can put pressure on the government.
As a senior parliamentarians, how will you encourage the young parliamentarians?
That's the most difficult one. We've got a youth parliament, and we're getting young people. We had a young person at the opening speaking at it. We've got a seminar during the course of this meeting, to discuss involving young people. But it's very difficult to involve young people in our own countries in politics. So we have to start there and then involve them in the Commonwealth as well, so that they know about democracy in each of their own countries, but they also understand about democracy throughout the Commonwealth.
While implementing the power by women parliamentarians, they face a lot of discriminations. How to overcome these discriminations?
There is discrimination against women, and we've been doing that, countering that in Britain by positive discrimination, by getting more women standing for Parliament, having all women shortlist, by encouraging them in every way. And although she's from a different party to me, I'm from the Labour Party, we have a woman Prime Minister, just as you have here. Theresa May. Theresa May. And we had a previous one, again from a Conservative party, in Margaret Thatcher. And I think I would hope that after Jeremy Corbyn, we would have a Labour woman as leader of the Labour Party. Jeremy Corbyn will be our next Prime Minister. My prediction for you is that Labour will win the next general election in Britain.
So far, I know you have a previous experience about Bangladesh. How do you like Bangladesh?
It's a beautiful country. I loved it then. It's taken me a long time to get back, but next time I hope I'll be back quicker. When I came here in 1991, I found it one of the friendliest countries I've ever been to. It's still one of the friendliest countries. But also, in Britain, we have lots and lots of Bangladeshi people, mostly from Sylhet. And I know so many. I mean, there are so many British Bangladeshis who are friends of mine. And so it's nice to come to their country as well. And on our delegation, we've got Baroness Uddin, who is a Bangladeshi, who is now a British member of the House of Lords. And in the British Parliament, we have 3 members of Parliament who are from Bangladesh. One of them is the niece of the Prime Minister, of your Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. Yes. She is in the British Parliament. We also have Rushanara Ali and Ripa Hook. So we have 3 Bangladeshi MPs in Britain, and I think that's a fantastic, and all women, and that's fantastic.